Hey everyone, before we get into the video, I have to mention two really exciting things that just happened. One, some Joel Freeman Glow Gator 3s just went live on the Innova website to commemorate my win at the DGPT Match Play Championships. Go pick up one of those. Two, people have been asking, where can I get my own ice cream shirt? These also just went live on the Zone Sporting Goods website. The links to everything will be down in the description, as well as my Instagram bio. Go pick some stuff up. Thank you guys for supporting. Let's get into this video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Joel Freeman and you're watching Wholehearted. I'm back on YouTube with what I think is my third video of the year. They've been few and far between, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed what I've put out there so far. Today, I just wanted to bring you guys a nice in the bag. I've had a really strong start to the season. Usually the second half of the year is stronger for me, and the first half, I don't feel like I've ever really had a great first half. And so I wanted to just dive into what have I been using, what have been my ingredients for success out on the course, and just get into the story behind some of these awesome discs. First and foremost, I have to thank Ridge Roller Customs. Ridge Roller made this bag and this cart. I would normally just be sitting on this cart because it's a nice, comfortable seat. This cart, I genuinely believe, this is called the R3, and I genuinely believe the R3 is the best disc carrying device that I've ever seen or heard of. Right now, I'm sitting on the Ridge because, of course, we're going to be getting in and out of the R3. But the Ridge is also an amazing bag. If I wore a bag, this is probably the one that I would use. Partially because, as you can see, it's a seat. Ridge Roller Customs is an amazing company. If you guys have never checked out their products, definitely do it. These carts are pretty expensive, but they're absolutely worth it. And Joe, the guy who runs it, is a genius, is an amazing engineer, and makes amazing products. So, without further ado, let's get into this. I guess people like to start off with the putters. So, I've been putting this year with the Nexus Zero. I think this might be the same mold as the Scarab and as the P1X. I'm not 100% sure on that, but with the rebranding of Discmania and all, I think I've been putting with this same mold for 5-6 years or so. The Nexus plastic is amazing. I feel like the Nexus plastic by Innova is just an ideal plastic. It's got a nice grippy feel, but it's nice and rigid. It's like firm, not floppy. And then I also keep this P1X in the bag. This sometimes I'll use for putting, sometimes for throwing. It's either for like long Anheuser putts, like putts that I need to for sure not ever fade, or throws that do the same. Just should mention right off the bat that I throw every disc in my bag, forehand and backhand. So I just feel like that's smart. I built that into my game from day one, and it allows me to have double the shots in my bag. So this disc is just one of the closest to my heart. This is the Joel Freeman Glow Champion Whale. This was my first Tour Series disc ever. And this exact disc was the first one that I ever put in my bag, and it's still here. It was hot pink to start out with. It was basically like this color. Now it's this, which is crazy to think about. It started off with, you know, straight to like overstable finish. Now it's just straight. It's just an amazing thrower and just has beat in so nicely to the point where it just like doesn't really beat in anymore. So it's here to stay. I love this whale. Next are my Gators. I carry 4 right now, which most people think I'm crazy for, but we've got the Scott Withers, which is just absurdly overstable. This is the most overstable mid-range that Innova has ever manufactured. I think this is the 2017 Withers run, and it's just amazingly overstable. Disregards the wind, you get it. This one I just cycled in. If you guys remember my red one with like the fire lure die, shout out to lure. This one took its place because that red one started straightening out. I'll probably cycle it in later on, but right now it's this guy. This was dyed by DeLong Dyes, so thank you Elliot DeLong for this. Look him up on this is just your go-to gator. It just feels amazing in the hand, nice and trusty, overstable. Love these. This is the exact same disc, but just a little bit beat in, so it's a little bit straighter. That second green one that I just showed you, I mostly have in there just as a backup, like if I lose one in the middle of the round or if I want to throw a second shot during practice. Now this right here, also dyed by DeLong Dyes, so shout out again to them. This is my baby. Favorite disc in the bag, and this thing is just magical. It does amazing things. This flies so straight and yet can handle so much power, wind. This confuses people when they watch it fly sometimes. I have done some really amazing shots with this disc. I feel like I'm cheating with it in the woods. This is the second run, second half of 2021. It's that glow run, and it's a little bit straighter to start off, and so I was able to beat it up, and now it's really straight, which is fantastic. I'm working on the MD3 right now. Some of you are gasping because I'm sponsored by Innova and not Discmania, so a little history lesson for people who haven't been playing very long. Discmania discs were originally manufactured by Innova. So before they split off and become their own like individual manufacturer, this right here, it says innovadiscs.com, Innova Champion Discs Incorporated. Any disc that's manufactured by Innova, I'm allowed to throw it. So I've got this sweet Innova disc in my bag, straight to overstable. It really overlaps with my straightest gator. So that one is not a frequently used disc, but I've got it in there right now because I want to beat it in to be laser straight, my laser straight mid-range. That brings us to this guy. Oh, this is one of my favorites as well. This is a special one, the iBlend Chariot. For those who don't know, iBlend is kind of like Star. This beats in so slow. Like it started off pretty overstable. Now it's like pretty flippy, but I swear it hasn't beaten in like 2 years. So it's my understable mid-range. So easy to control. Holds an Anheuser. I love this thing. All right, shout out to Ian Burchett who traded me this disc. This thing is beefy. You saw me using this in the Match Play Championships. Birdied hole 3 with this disc. Up high, a little bit of Anheuser out of the hand, crashed down, birdied it all 5 rounds with this right here. This is the Metal Flake Firebird. So thank you, Ian. This thing is beef. This one is brand new. I haven't really thrown it very many times, but I think it's just kind of go-to Firebird, just like standard overstable, nice and trusty. Nothing really special to say about that. Champion Firebird. This one is a much older version of the Champion Firebird, the good old 12-time Ken Climo stamp on here. This one's nice and straight, but like dependable straight, so maybe tiny bit of fade at the end. But another step up from there would be the Savant, which is, this one's also very straight, but it's more of a understable straight to turnover kind of. So I can throw, you know, if I throw both of these flat, this one they do almost the same thing, but this one will kind of go like a little bit of turn, this one will go a little bit of fade. So they complement each other really nicely. On to the next kind of flippiest is the Champion Thunderbird. This is in that really special category. Shout out to Gavin Rathbun for giving me this thing. If you don't know the story, look on my Instagram and find my post about this. It was like 2 weeks before Christmas, so I'll leave that to you if somebody wants to go find it. But this one is just seasoned really nicely. I can hyzer flip to flat. I can put it on flat and then it'll turn really nicely. It's just really controllable, seasoned really well, and again is something about the plastic and the run, the way this Thunderbird came out, it beats in so slowly, so it stayed very much the same disc for a long time. I've thrown it again and again and again and again, and it stays amazing. So this is a really special, controllable turnover disc. That leads me to the flippiest disc that I have in the control driver category, the Star Sidewinder. I got a stack of 5 identical ones like these, and I've loved them all. I've been cycling one in and out that's newer than this, but this one is just so beat up. It's so flippy. I can release it on a hyzer and it'll land onto a roller. Gets me out of trouble. Low ceiling rollers. I can do a lot of cool stuff with this thing. Tomahawks, whatever. So this one's great to have around. Basic Star Sidewinder, but it's a beauty. Before I move on to my distance driver category, I just wanted to mention, kind of reference my previous in the bag. Most of you have probably seen it, but in my eyes, there are 5 categories of speed in a disc. So there's the putter, the mid-range, the fairway, the control driver, and the distance driver. Right now, I don't have any fairways. I'm sure I will in the future, and I'm sure I'll work them back in, but it's just like, it's been an awkward spot for me recently, and so I don't have anything between a 5 and a 9 speed. So in my eyes, 6 is kind of a hybrid disc. 7 and 8, those are the fairway numbers in my eyes. And then once it gets to a 9, 10, those are control driver. So the Firebird to the Sidewinder, the last 6 discs that I just showed you, these I consider to be control drivers. In my mind, I don't have any fairways in my bag. I just go straight from a mid-range to a control driver, and that's what's been working for me right now the best this year. So with that being said, on to the distance drivers. Got the good old Metal Flake Max. Some of you guys recognize these mostly from Eagle. Eagle McMahon used to throw these all the time. He kind of made this super sparkly Metal Flake Max run pretty popular. This thing can handle any amount of wind, thumbers, forehand rollers. It's just incredibly overstable. That's the Metal Flake Max. Don't use it very often, but it's really fun when I get to pull it out and actually use it for something. Similar is the Luster Destroyer. I don't know the name of the gentleman that gave me this, but you know who you are. Thank you so much for giving this to me. This is a very treasured disc to me. I actually try to avoid throwing it so that I can keep it as overstable as possible. This thing is so overstable, which is so helpful in like some heavy winds on tour when I need a drive to go far into like a really stiff headwind, 30, 40 mile per hour. This thing can handle it. Super overstable, Luster Destroyer. These are, I pull them out at the same time because they're brand new, they're unthrown. I'm just hoping they're really overstable, and I'm gonna just be working on these in the coming weeks as I tour. This is a C-Line PD2. This is a Calvin Heimberg Halo Destroyer. All right, this is another one of my babies. This is another Halo Destroyer. This is just my go-to driver. It's kind of straight to overstable finish, really trusty, goes far. Love that disc. S-Line PD2, similar to the one that I just showed you. Okay, this disc is really special. This is one of the older discs in my bag. This is a Star Destroyer, pretty old. Basically in that go-to driver category, all 3 of these last ones. When in doubt, I'll reach for one of these. This one you haven't seen me throw much recently because I lost it at De La Viega in Santa Cruz. And then I came back this year, and one of the guys on staff, on the tournament staff, found it, gave it back to me. So huge shout out to him. I'm so happy to have this thing back. This is a gem, and I'm hoping that this will stay in the bag for years to come, because this is another one of those discs that beats in slower than the other ones do. The plastic just came out really nice. Love it. Star Destroyer. On the same note, I've got 3 more Star Destroyers coming. These 2, if you watch them on coverage, you're going to get them confused. And and I don't really know the secret to telling them apart. This one's a little greener, this one's a little bluer, I guess. This one's been in my bag for a long time, but I'm getting out of order. So this is straight and goes really, really far. It's got some pretty swirls. This is just a really nice run of Star Destroyers that actually Garrett Gerthy helped me pick out in the factory. We were walking through together and he said, these are the good ones. This one's like not as near and dear to me. So this is one that I'll like, if I need to throw really far and I'm around some water, that one crushes. This one does mean a lot to me. This one has been in the bag for a long time. It's the same disc as this one, but it's just been in the bag longer, so I've gotten to beat it up. It goes so far. It's awesome. It's like understable and glides forever, but it's still controllable. Oh, it's a beautiful disc. This is like probably my max distance driver right here. Now this disc is really special, and I've had a ton of people asking me, what is it? This may look familiar, probably will look familiar to most of you, because this is the disc that I was throwing on hole 1 at the Match Play Championships this last weekend in Bailey, Colorado. 690-foot hole. This baby landed about 20 feet away. Threw it about 680 feet and made the putt. This is my Luster Destroyer. I ordered these actually hoping that they would be super overstable like these Luster Destroyers. Turned out to be the exact opposite, which at first I was really disappointed about, but once I threw them a little bit, I realized they are very understable and yet very controllable. I don't know what was different about this run, but they just came out so nice. I don't get to use this disc a ton like on tour, but in Colorado, this is like one of my favorite discs. Really nice forehand and backhand. So yeah, this disc means a lot. Flippy and controllable is just such a rare and special combination. So on that same note, very flippy. This is a Metal Flake Faro. For anybody who hasn't thrown the Faro, check them out. It's a fantastic disc. Imagine that a Shrike and a Boss had a baby. That's the Faro. It's an amazing disc. Like I said, a nice combination of very understable, but very controllable. This one I've beat up so much to the point where it's not usable most of the time. But again, when I need it, I'm grateful that I have it. It'll get me out of trouble. It'll do some fancy things in the woods. Again, probably more useful in high elevation than it is at sea level, but you'll see me use it from time to time. So, all right, that's pretty much it as far as just my discs. I have a few honorable mentions here. One would be this guy right here. This is a Champion Firebird, and it is the Champion Firebird that I aced hole 13 at the Beaver State Fling in the final round in the strawberry shirt. Speaking of which, you can pick up your own strawberry shirt on the Zone Sporting Goods website. They've got the signature Joel Freeman apparel collection there. You can click, I'll try and put the link below. You could also click the link in my Instagram bio. So this is the run of Champion Firebird that Innova created 3 or 4 years ago. That kind of looks like luster plastic, but it says Champion. These just came out so nice, flat, super overstable, similar to what I've heard like a 11-time Firebird flies like. I've never owned one, but that's what I've heard, that they're identical. I've thrown just great shot after great shot for years with it. But I've got other discs that'll take its place nicely. Example would be this Metal Flake one that's already doing great things for me. That one will replace it well and carry on the legacy, but I can't risk ever losing this thing. My first ace on the Pro Tour was with this disc, and so I've got to tuck it away and keep it forever so that I've got just a piece of that special memory with me. So this one's leaving the bag, but had to give it the shout out. Two other shout outs are these from these amazing dies. This one is a Halo Sidewinder dyed by Toby Dyes. Check out Toby Dyes on Instagram. This thing flies great and will be in my bag in the future. But right now, this red Thunderbird is taking its job, and that thing is just amazing. And so until I lose that one, the Halo Sidewinder might be on the bench. This is like the coolest die ever. And so I'm super excited to put it in the bag if I ever get to. So here we go. And then this is dyed by Edgar Cercinis. So shout out to him. This is in reference to my yellow and red, my signature, like whatever, McDonald's outfit that I wore actually also at Texas State's the year before. Yeah, good old McFrolf stamp. So thank you, Edgar. This is a Star Destroyer and it flies great. And I'm sure I'll cycle it in again soon, but it just isn't in the bag at this particular moment. To wrap things up, I'll just kind of explore kind of some of these other little pockets here. I've got a couple Sharpies because disc golf is growing and I get asked for a lot of autographs, which is awesome. This is my mini that I'm using right now. I just like the way it looks and I haven't lost it, so I'm just still using it. If I do lose it, I'm using this cool wooden Team Innova stamped one. And then I also carry this one, which shout out to Joe Revere, who 3D printed this one. It's got my nickname Freebird on it. So yeah, those minis are all super cool. Got some good old Double G jerky, of course. Best jerky on the market. You guys already know all about that, but Double G is an amazing guy and he makes amazing jerky. So this, you guys know how these work. Little scarf, little buff. This is really nice just to keep my neck a little extra warm if it gets cold in winter or whatever. I've got a little quick stick down here, kind of like wedges in there nicely. Okay, back here, this is kind of a cool little feature. I don't know if this is intentional. I'm assuming it's not. These little holes right here just like happen to hold a pencil perfectly. So I keep my pencils just hanging in these little holes that were probably intended for something else. Little sunscreen because that's important, and I am white. Water bottle, of course. In this other water bottle spot, I will keep my wife's. Her name is Alyssa, A-L-I-S-S-A, in case you care. She's always following along with me, so she gets a little spot in the cart. Here I keep a couple kind of like throwaway minis that I don't care about. For anybody else on the course who forgets theirs, I can just toss them one and say, keep it. Next we've got, I always keep the rules with me. I consider it part of my job to know the rules really well, so I know them well and I try to follow them as best as I possibly can. And actually I will mention, since we just came from the Match Play Championships, it's in the Rocky Mountains, and so I wasn't pulling the cart. It's just the terrain's too crazy, so I was carrying my bag and I left in my bag this little like piece of emery cloth, which is really nice for sanding down the rough edges of my discs. Love having that thing around, so that's another thing that you're not seeing here, and I think that does it. I've got a bunch of practice putters over here in this bag, but that's about it. I already said it earlier, but I just wanted to say again, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for watching the video, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys showing your support and following along in my career. It really does mean a lot. Another thing I'll mention is this shirt I'm wearing right here. How sick is that? Starts with my initials up top and then me throwing a forehand down below. I'm really proud of this design. My dad and I collaborated on creating this. And then shout out to Disc Golf Threads. They're the ones who turn it into a t-shirt. They feel amazing. They fit great. They're these awesome like dry fit, sublimated. They're really nice shirts. Perfect for disc golf. And they look cool, right? At least I think they do. If you do as well, you can pick them all up at discgolfthreads.com. Again, I'll put the link below. You can also find everything Joel Freeman related, discs, apparel items, anything you want at holehearted.golf or the link in my Instagram bio. So thank you all for going and just checking out all my stuff and supporting me. And with that, I'll sign off Huge thank you to each one of my sponsors: Disc Golf Threads, Fisher Disc Golf, Infinite Discs, Innova Discs, Schaefer Sports Management, Ridge Roller Customs, and Zone Sporting Goods. These companies are all the bomb. They have my back, and I think their support has been a huge key to my success this season. As well as, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, I think posting less frequently on YouTube has helped me to focus on becoming a better player. So hopefully I'm able to put out another video soon, but if not, you guys know it's worth it. All right, I'll stop rambling. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Joel Freeman. You're watching Wholehearted, and we will see you next time.